Greetings hobbyists, this is Artisans of Wool. And in this video we're going to be adding detail to paving or stonework using just free tools in Blender. So in the last video we were making some Wargaming base toppers to look like paving. We made this sort of simple paving with some different edging stones, and we made these ones that look more like sort of brickwork pattern, and then we combined these together and then used them to make a base topper. And in that video I said, well, we're going to do one more video having a look at how we can add detail to this to make it look a bit more worn and realistic. Now, I'm kind of going back on my word here. I've tried to do this in one video where I covered all the free tools to do this, and then some useful add-ons available as well. And I just can't get this in one video. I really have tried. I've recorded this twice, and I just can't get to the point where I cover everything in enough detail that I'm happy with it, but also not making it 30 to 40 minutes long. So I'm going to have to break this up into two videos, and this one's going to be covering all the ways to do this for free. Now, I'll try to make this as clear for beginners as possible, but I do need to go through things quite rapidly because, again, otherwise this is just going to take too long. But the real secret here is ordering to make this as efficient as possible. You need to use the right tricks in the right order. So what we're going to do is make some chips on different corners. We're going to put some cracks through the different paving or stones, and then we're going to just make sure things look a little bit more interesting and not as boring as this by changing the height for some of these. Now, I would strongly suggest you do it in the order that I do it in, as it makes everything work a little bit better. But if you want to miss out any of these techniques, you can. It's just I would suggest this is the right order to do them in. So we're going to just start by copying everything that we're going to work with, which is going to be these objects, Shift and D, and then we'll just put those a little bit higher, and then we'll just hide everything else. So select all those and hit H. Now at this point we've got everything being separated, so we've got the set of small blocks here, the larger blocks, and then we've got the bit at the bottom that combines everything together. And we're going to need to apply these modifiers. So we'll click Apply All for there and Apply All for here, and then we're going to select both that and Shift select this and Tab to go into Edit Mode. And we can go to Edit Mode for both of these together, which is really nice. We could join these together, but that's totally not necessary. We're going to go into Edge Mode, and we're going to start by just chipping some of the corners. And this is going to be really simple. Effectively, we're going to select an edge, and we're going to press Ctrl and B to bevel it to make like a chipped corner. But doing that individually, or selecting lots of these edges and doing it together, would take, well, a long time. So we don't want to do that. We want to do this in a much more automated or quick fashion. So what we're going to do is select one of these edges, and the reason we're doing this first is that we want all of these edges to be the same height, so this is quick to do. So we're going to Shift and G, and that brings up the Select Similar menu, and let me just do this to the side. We want to select all the edges that are the same length, so we're going to click there, and now all of these edges have been selected. We could Control and B at this point to bevel all of the edges, and that can make quite a nice pattern for this paving, or if these are tiles, but we actually just want to do this to some of these edges, not all of them. So we do have an option if I go to Select and then to Select Random, and that will select more edges at random. And you'll notice we've got some of these top edges being selected, but we don't want to select more edges. We want to go to what we had and just deselect some of them, so we have a random selection just of these edges. So select random, and then if you go to the bottom, instead of the action being select, if you don't have this box, it's just down here, you need to click it to expand it, we're going to go to deselect. And now with a ratio of 0.5, what this has done is unselected 50% of them. Now, this will probably look a bit too much if you did it at this point, so what we're going to do is just scroll this down to probably be about between 0.8 and 0.9. So we've now deselected the majority of them and only got a little over 10% selected. Control and B, and I'm just going to bevel these. Now for the first one, you want to do the biggest bevel that you want. So I'm going to do the largest chips. We'll call that about here. And you can see we've got a nice random selection of these. Now, once we've done that once, we can do this again. So I'm going to click that edge, again, Shift and G, select similar length, select random, and you'll notice here that now it's actually upped the seed, and this changes what's selected, so it changes the pattern. And we did it once and it was on 1, we did it again, it was on 2, and now it's on 3. So each time it's selecting a different set of edges or a different pattern of edges. Now what this does mean is sometimes it will select edges that have already been selected once. So here, this one's already got one of these bevels on it. And I'm trying to look for something that could be a potential problem to just demonstrate something, and I can't actually see an example with this, annoyingly. So what I'm going to do is actually just intentionally make this problem happen. So what we'll do is we'll come here and I'm going to shift select this one as well, because what I wanted to explain is what would happen if we will beveled both of these. So we're going to Control and B, and if I go too far, you'll notice it then creates a bit of a mess, and we definitely don't want that happening. So the first way to solve that is not go too big, which is why I said this would be the smaller of the bevels. Each time you want to get smaller, or you can press C, and you can see at the bottom that activates clamp, which means we can't go too far, can't go any further, and that will stop that being a problem. But I am going to go just a little bit less and click there. And you'll see what this does now is makes a nice series where we've got, well, one bigger chip, some smaller chips, and some of these where they already had a chip has become slightly more rounded. So we get a really nice interesting mix of damage. Now, how many times you do this is up to you, but I'm going to do it one more time. So select similar length, select, and then select random, and then once again we've changed our seed, and this one is going to be the smallest one now, so Control and B, again press C to clamp it, to make sure we don't go too far, and I'm going to go somewhere there-ish. So now we should have quite a nice range of different chips of different sizes. Some of them are fairly angular, some of them are more rounded, some of them will be really rounded. That one's getting pretty round, but either way it gets a nice random different set of chips going on our paving, tiling or stone. Next, we're going to do some cracks. Now, this is the bit that, I'm going to be honest, is not the nicest thing to do without an add-on. So I do recommend that even if it's just out of interest, you watch the next video that I'm going to do on this to have a look at how we're going to do this more efficiently with add-ons. Even if you go, no, I'm not interested, I would have a look at this, as it might be something you want to purchase in the future, as they are very nice add-ons. So hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and hit that bell icon so you know when that video's out. But all we're going to do for this is hit K for the knife tool, and then we need to cut through these stones, so we need to hit C for cut through. Now, importantly, for this to work perfectly, and you to know it's going to work, we need to be in this top-down view. So if I just come out of this, you'll notice that I went perpendicular to see everything really flat on. And this is going to solve some potential issues that could otherwise come up. So K, C to cut through, and we're just going to sort of click and just make a interesting series of cuts that can act as a crack, and hit space once we're done. Now you'll notice this should select, and it did select too much there, select just these edges. So check they're just selected, and then we're going to hit Control and B, and we're going to bevel them. Now if you get too many bevels, if it looks like this, just scroll down on your mouse wheel. Same was true when we were doing the edges. You only want a single segment bevel, and get to a thickness that we want, click, and then we're going to hit X, and then delete the faces. Now, hopefully you'll agree, this is quite a nice controllable crack that looks pretty good, but we do have this issue that now this isn't a manifold object. We can see into it because we've deleted the faces. Now, Blender, because we did this nicely, we did this at a perpendicular angle, all of these bits that are missing are going to be able to form what we call quads, with the exception of the top, and that means we're going to be able to make a four-sided shape, and Blender is very good at predicting that. So if I just click that edge and hit F, you'll see it goes along, and then if I hit F, it goes to the next one, and then to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. So this becomes very easy to fix. If I just click here and then hold down F, it just goes all the way along and does it. So we can do that, and we can just add in some cracks as we choose. Like I said, this is not going to be the nicest thing to do. It does get a bit tedious, and I'm definitely not doing this over this whole shape without it taking a while. So I'm just going to add a couple more just to demonstrate a couple of points. So that's K. I'm going to do another one here. Let's do something like that. Space. Oh, and you'll see in a totally accidental move that I forgot to press C. And what this doesn't cut through this edge, so this wouldn't work. So let's just try that again. Once again, K, and then C to get the cut through, and click there, and then now it's gone all the way through. Control and B to bevel it. Click once it's at the right thickness, X, face, and then just come to that edge, hold down F, come to that edge, hold down F. Now, just as a final point, there is a way that you might think we could do this a bit more quickly. Let's just come here and do this, which I will mention, but it does have the chance of causing some problems, but I want to mention it. So let's do the knife tool, cut through, and we're just going to do one more sort of here on this corner. There we go, Control and B, bevel it, Oh, and you'll notice there, I still have that edge selected. So we've got to be a little bit careful with that. Now, this is actually not going to cause a problem, but if we keep this selected and then press X and delete the faces, we're going to end up with a hole there. So we do need to make sure that we don't have an edge selected when we start, or if we do, you need to find it and then just click F. So if you suddenly find that there's some non-manifold bits, that will be why. Now, one way of finding these non-manifold bits, just to be really, really safe, and also what might fix this, but it's probably not going to work, is to use something called the 3D Print Toolbox. Just go to Edit, Preferences, come to your Get Extensions, type in 3D Print, and then you'll have 3D Print Toolbox. You'll need to click Install, and it does look like that I've got some that need updating, so I'm just going to click Update All. There we go. Then save your preferences, and then if you hit N, you should have this 3D print option. Make sure you're in object mode, not edit mode. Select the object that you want to check, click check, and it will find that we've got some non-manifold edges here. Now, realistically, it's only the top two that you really care about. And if you get to the point where you can't see these, if you tab into edit mode and then click this button, it will highlight them, which is really useful. Now, this does also have the option to clean this up, but some of the time this causes problems. If I click Make Manifold here, this says that it is put in 2 faces, but we need a lot more faces than that. And you can see here, if I go into face mode with 3 and click that face, this has tried to do this as 1 face, which is not going to go very well. And similarly, here you can see we've got a bit of an issue there, where this has filled this in just a way that doesn't work. So I'm going to undo that. I wouldn't advise doing that for this technique. I would go with what I said here. Click there, just hold down F, click there, hold down F, and we've got that sorted. And if you wanted to, we can make a more interesting crack. So let's just go into this object. In fact, I can select both of them as we did before. K, C to cut through. Oh, sorry. Click off first. That's going to stop those edges being selected that caused that problem earlier. Then K, C, select something, let's say here, and then let's just go there, space, Control and B. I'm going to do a much smaller crack here, X, faces, and then select that edge, hold down F, select that face, hold down F, and we've got this sorted. Now this crack is probably too small to come out well if we were 3D printing this, which is why the next stage is going to be important. So what we're going to do now is change the height of these, or these top faces, again at random. And what this is going to do is make it look like this paving was done quite a while ago. And therefore, over time, some of these have got slightly dislodged and not everything's at the right height. So what we're going to do is hit 3 to go into face mode, or you can click up here. Click one of the faces at the top. And again, we're going to use this select similar. I'm just going to hit N to get rid of that M panel, Shift and G. And now we're going to select by normal. That means what way is the thing we've selected facing. And this is all facing upwards. So it's going to select everything else that's facing upwards, but nothing else. Then exactly the same trick as what we did for the corners. We're going to select, and then we're going to select random, and we're still going to be deselecting, and we're going to deselect about 80 to 90%. Now what I'm going to do is just select this face here. You'll see why in a second. So we can add some bits that we want selected as well. And then I'm just going to G and then Z and just take this down just a tiny bit, somewhere there. Then exactly the same thing again. Shift and G, normal, select, and then select random. And then we've got these selected, and usefully, we've got this one as well. What I'm going to do is select that one there too. And then I'm just going to G and Z and move that up just a tiny little bit. And then one more time. So again, we're going to do this 3 times. I find that gives enough variation. Shift and G, normal, select, and then select random. And I'm actually going to deselect that one and select this one. And then I'm going to G and Z and move these up a little bit as well. So what you've got now is some different things that have been moved up and down. Some of them might have been moved up twice, but you just get this nice random variation. And importantly, we've done this in this order because if we were to do these select edges at this point, so let's just come in here and Shift and G and select by length, it's going to miss some of them out that aren't the same length because now we've got different things at different heights. We can change the threshold, but actually even here it doesn't get to the point where all of them are selected. So that's why we want to do the corners first. And then we wanted to do this bit last as well, because then these faces here all become potentially at different heights. And that really thin crack that we've got just here, well, we might not be able to see that in the 3D print with the crack, but we'll be able to see these differences in heights. So that's why we wanted to do everything in this order. Now at this point we can just go about what we did in the last video of cutting out this to be our base topper. I'm not going to cover that in a lot of detail because it was in the last video and there's a link to that video in the description. So if you do want to check out how to do that, that's the place to go. So that is how we're going to make this base topper with a little bit more variation and more interest. As I said, in the next video, we're going to have a look at how we can do this in an even more efficient way using add-ons, and we'll have a look at a way of giving more texture to these surfaces, which make it look more worn and works better for certain types of stonework, if you're doing something like in a graveyard or something like that. So, as I say, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, the bell icon, and we'll be having a look at that in the next video. Or if you really want to see that now, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be up on the Patreon because the Patreon's a week ahead in terms of videos, and we do those videos ad-free, as well as giving other things like access to the channel Discord. So I hope to see you in the next video, and have a great day.